Talk to me.
Sakura no kukilaman siaru.
Masuk. Hello everyone. Iki Ali.
Sai Ali.
We're brothers Ali. So, we're gonna talk about that hit Australian indie sensation right now.
Talk to me.
Alright, so it's directed by the twins Danny Filippo and Michael Filippo. I hope I pronounced the name right. So they're like a twin directors who also runs a YouTube channel called RackaRacka. I'm not mistaken. I haven't seen them, but yeah, they're YouTubers.
Apparently, they make a lot of like short films in that time of varying genres.
Yeah. So
The movie is written by one of them, Danny Filippo, and two others, Bill Hinsman and Deli Pearson. And I think the movie's writing is phenomenal, right?
and yeah,
Oh god, it's so good.
the American distribution is picked up by the chat A24, who is like being exempted from not doing movie work during the SAG-AFTRA and WGA strike. So
Because they're not part of the union.
they're not part of the bigger producers association that the strike is going against. So
And they
yeah.
usually, when they hire people, writers and directors, most of them are university students, so they're not like part of like that Hollywood stuff. So I'm glad that there's movies up like this coming out.
Yeah.
Fresh movies coming out. Like
And
this.
I'm surprised it even came to Malaysia, man. It's like
Yeah.
wow.
Even if it's limited, it's something, man.
Yeah. So yeah, tell everyone the movie's about, man.
So this movie is about the character called Mia, who's a teenager who lost her mother recently and is kind of estranged with her father, which she thought it has something to do with her demise.
Yeah.
And she kind of inserted herself into the family of her best friend Jade, and she's kind of like Jade is dating her ex-boyfriend, Mia's ex-boyfriend in the past, which is Daniel. And like she's also like kind of a good friends with Jade's younger brother, which kind of make him her younger brother, Riley. And what happens is, in that town, the school kids find out about like this hand, which is supposed to be an embalmed hand, meaning that it looks like a mannequin hand, but like beyond that, supposedly there's an actual hand put in that mold, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So and then they has a mysterious power where when you grab onto it and you say talk to me, it kind of like uh, shows them some kind of like figure, some kind of being, and they would have to say let me in, and that thing would take over their body, and then they're gonna say weird stuff because that person is basically possessed
Yeah.
by the entity that they saw.
But they cannot like hold on to it for longer than 90 seconds. Was it the rule?
That's the rule that the kids made.
Yeah.
Because before there was a case which is like in the opening, whereas a kid gone awry.
Yeah.
And like one of the school kids that attend the party of that incident occurring decided to take the hand and start to continuing to play with that thing.
Yeah.
And before, it was just a rumored thing, but then these two sets of friends, or maybe I would say colleagues, or more like acquaintances,
Yeah.
Joss and
And-
Haley,
Yeah.
started to play around with this thing, and started to do small sessions where they make a ritual where they like start a candle, right?
Yeah.
And then for people to gather around, one of them will volunteer and say talk to me, and then
Do the thing.
everybody do the thing, take turns doing the thing, and people press record to see many kinds of reaction. At first they just playing around with that thing,
And then,
and
of course, it's a
of
horror movie.
course,
Shit hits the fan.
yeah, somebody, go beyond the limit, you know.
Yeah.
So something happened, and then because of that, the movie starts to take place. Whereas we follow the journey of Mia going to a downward spiral, trying to be in contact with this thing because before a friend of hers is possessed by supposedly her mother's spirit. And you know how these things are, like a lot of orphans are kind of like blame themselves. Why did my family got separated? Where did they left me or whatever things like that? Or why haven't I met my parents? Why did they abandon me? So
Yeah.
they explore a lot of that.
So I want to tell you a little bit of my journey pre-watching this movie. So I vaguely heard about this movie, and then I saw the poster, and the poster was the hand in question, or which is like the premise of this movie. I was like, huh, it's a hand, and then the title of the movie is Talk to Me. I don't know. I felt like it was like a play on Talk to the Hand. So I thought it was like a horror comedy or
Okay,
something.
all right.
Honestly, I thought. And then people keep saying it's like a serious shit kind of movie, and we watch it, and it's freaking good, man.
And like
Yeah.
the place, the venue, or that hosts the movie too. Oh god, that place is very dingy. It's smelly, and the whole room, like the room where we watch the
The
movie,
hall, yeah.
the hall is, dude, it's very cold. So it adds to the atmosphere.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
surprisingly, there's like a bunch of people watching it with us too. We thought that at first we start to change seats because, to a cozy seat, because we thought we conquered the hall, but apparently there's more people coming afterwards.
Yeah. Which is a good sign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like people got a buzz of this movie and check it out. And if you heard the hype, don't believe it so much so to say it's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Just believe it to think that, if you want to have a good time watching a really, really good, gut wrenching horror movie, you go watch this one, man. It's very solid. Oh god. And here's the thing too. At first you start to get to know the characters, especially Jade's family, and they kind of like, they're not like especially lovely or anything, but they kind of hospitable because they kind of like in a weird way adopt Mia
Yeah, in loose
into the
terms, yeah.
family. And you kind of see the relationship between Mia and Jade flourish, and surprisingly Mia and Riley at first it's kind of confusing, but it turns out it's just like a brother and sister dynamic, and it's very sweet.
Yeah.
At one point, like he got traumatized, and he start, you know kind of like cuddling, or at least like
Confide in.
confide in lying beside her,
Yeah.
in the middle of
In a storm.
in the storm, right?
Yeah.
He just talk it out, and she listens, and it's very
Yeah.
very endearing,
This movie has lots of tender moments actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then you find out that although as consoling as Mia is, she is very assertive. She's
Mm.
trying to like insert herself inside everybody's life, while at the same time she doesn't let anyone in, especially her
Yeah.
father. And she's kind of an asshole. And the movie knows that.
Mm.
The movie does not for 1 second stop depicting her as an asshole. Um because like that's not the point of the movie. And the thing is too, the movie even foreshadowed that when the first time they were invited, actually only Jade was invited into a small party where Haley and the gang started to want to play with that thing again, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then, Jade want to come because Mia said, "What's we need to see if it's real, right?" So naturally, because it was Mia's idea, Jade decided to bring Mia along. But then, as soon first Jade enters the house, right? But then Mia enters, and then Haley was like, "Fuck me," and you know what? That's kind of like, oh god, man, this character knows something that we, the audience, don't know of how much an asshole Mia is apparently. And dude,
Yeah.
I love it, man. That's such a simple, signaling to the audience, to see that maybe things start to be like terrible, not because of what happens to one of the characters. It already started since Mia entered that house,
Yeah.
because of Mia herself, and what she could do when she's mingling with wrong people. And it's not about these people are wrong in a sense, because they're just teenagers, and teenagers are dumb. We've been there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the thing is, because she herself is like, like when you have like a it's a chemical imbalance where you add a different property, a different, what do you call that thing,
Substance.
element,
Element.
a different substance that goes into the what do you call that thing, the mixture. And it gives off like a weird effect, because it's very much not compatible with the other ingredients. It's like that. So Mia represents that, the thing that is a catalyst to the chemical imbalance.
Yeah. And yeah, Mia says it. Yeah, I mean, at first I didn't see that. I just see her as just a deeply troubled person, and then yeah, it dawned on me after we discuss it. We discuss it after we watch it. Yeah, I mean, because at one point during our journey back home, I became an asshole myself, and I realized, yeah, she is an asshole.
Yeah, you know when you become one, right? So
Yeah.
he learned of how much an asshole Mia is by learning from himself.
And yeah, I just realized my shirt is of a rat trying to get out of the trap. And you remember that what happened when we went right home?
Oh god, the rat. Oh
Yeah,
god, it was a dead rat, and it's huge too. But anyways,
that's beside the point. But yeah, the point is I learned all of that while I was being an asshole myself during that
yeah.
time that she's an asshole.
And from the foreshadow, I learned two things. One, Haley is my favorite character because she tells the truth and only the truth, even when she's trying to be a little bit of a gaslighter.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
two is that Mia is gonna be big trouble in a way that nobody will realize, would realize, even Mia herself. So the thing is, when they play around with these things, sometimes the thing can travel with someone after they play a
oh,
little bit, maybe a little, the rule is they play with it a little bit too much, which in this case Mia does. And maybe also, now that I think about it, maybe it targets more people who are vulnerable, so they start to approach them more and more with these spiritual beings, plural. Oh god.
yeah. So, mhm. And my favorite character is Riley, which is the brother of
Jade.
Jade, because he's like
He's
he's learning the ropes. It's basically he's very messed up coming of age, basically very messed up because yeah, and to aid him in his coming of age is his uh asshole of a friend who's like pretending to be kind of badass or something, like wants to try this and that, but in the end he's like, Riley, you go first. Then I follow. Then I show how badass I am. Like
pathetic, man.
pathetic. We all. I mean, at one point, we all have that kind of friend. Yeah, I guess so. Riley, good luck with everything.
So I
I love
think
him.
the movie, get this, it's a horror film that have zero jump scares. You hear
Zero.
that, people? Zero.
Zero. No.
So
Yeah. The last movie I remember is also an A24 movie, Hereditary. We saw it in the cinemas. Also no jump scare. It's just like it's the lingering kind of scare,
You know, like
which is yeah.
we had like this the movie that was taking everyone by storm. You know, Skinamarink.
Mm-hmm.
We can watch from Amazon Prime Video or something.
Or I'm not sure where is it. Is it Hulu or something? I'm
Okay,
not sure.
so the movie is like playing like with your eyes, right? You know, if you stare at a void for too long, you're gonna see stuff that you kind of like conjure yourself right in your mind. So it's kind of like that, but not really. It's more like the entities approach the screen, right?
Yes,
But it's not like they just jump out of nowhere. It's like you see them
you hear them.
and then they
Yeah.
enter, they walk forward, you know. So like none of them are really jump scares. It's all just like an entry, just like a normal character would, you know. So I really appreciate this movie for doing that, because it doesn't rely on cheap techniques to get scares out of people. And it's like, oh my god, it's so beautiful,
But
right?
yeah, despite the cheap, I don't know. I think the movie has a relatively small budget from the looks of it, but still,
Yeah,
um,
it has a cheap budget, but it does not use cheap techniques.
and also despite having a very cheap budget from the looks of it, they went all out with the spirits makeups, man. It's like
Oh yeah.
very grotesque and with like warts and I don't know, like tearing flesh or something.
It feels like, you know, when you take a body and it decomposes under the sea, you
Yeah,
know,
it's like
and then you just pull them out.
so basically it's like
They all bloated and decaying, but at the same time they're very moisturized.
so it's like
It's
they basically did
unsettling, man.
a practical version of like Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest kind of zombie things or whatever. Yeah, it's a very convincing look. And for I mean, I think in the Malaysian poster of Talk to Me, there's a split they used a split second image in the movie as the Malaysian poster and the word that is exploit in that in from that still from the poster, the Malaysian poster. Wow, they can do that with a limited budget. It's like it's a very scary. I mean, it's very split second, but then the entire thing where I actually watch what happened from the poster, the real thing that happens, like, wow, this is like very good. Like, how can they manage to pull off something of that nature, like a depiction of a land that we cannot fathom with our head, like that? It's just basically, but we can feel it's very scary. It's like, you know, the movie versions of the movie's version of hell. It's like, damn.
And then that the
Wow.
scares linger, you know.
Yeah.
It's etched into your memory. You
Yes.
just keep thinking about it, you know. When when you go to sleep, sometimes it kind of be like it stays with you. You know, it's like a part of you now. And I think that's what makes horror so good sometimes,
Yeah.
because the best horror in my opinion is the most realistic in nature, in the sense that you know you can just imagine one day that happening to you, seemingly out of nowhere sometimes, and that's your reality now.
Yeah.
Some of the like scariest horror that I can think of is like the real story of a guy who's like hanging in a family's what do you call it, like vent.
Uh-huh.
I
Oh, that okay, yeah,
Oh
yeah, yeah,
god,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
just like sneaking or everything, and then there's like a stretch of a road somewhere in the UK where there was supposed to be like an explosion, if I'm not
Uh-huh.
mistaken, site where they make stuff for World War I,
Uh-huh.
or for miners. I don't remember. There's like hairy hands, whereas in that specific stretch of road, right, where people vehicles go there, sometimes there's like a pair of hairy hands that comes out of nowhere that steers the vehicle in a weird way, and then people will get into accidents. They they slam through trees or
Oh
whatever,
shit.
and a lot of people got hurt. And in different timeline, right? In the 40s, 50s, in the early 2000s, it happens multiple times. You should look it up, and I think both of these are covered by Shrouded Hand,
Yeah.
in YouTube. And then, there's a movie called The Bay.
Oh, the bay. Oh, damn.
Oh god, the entire town water is contaminated with some kind of like parasite infestation.
Yeah.
And like movies where you feel like the room, what do you call that thing, the back rooms.
All back room. So.
Yeah, the no clipping, you get into another zone and you can't get out anymore. Or even like a simple human trafficking story. When I say this, doesn't matter if it's fiction or it's reality. Things like human trafficking, like imagine that you lose everything that you hold dear, you know and love, to this thing where this is your reality now, and then you cannot wake up out of it. It
Yeah.
is part of you now. This is what the story is about. And the story is also about codependency. So, okay, Mia is an only child, right?
Mm.
She has nobody in her life to be her best friend but her mother. And because she lost her mother very recently, and like it's not like I lost my mother when I was 9. So I kind of not remember how my mother is.
Mm.
But as for her, she loses her mother when she's already growing up with her, and she's a teenager, and she can fully remember when her mother finally off herself. So it's kind of like she felt extremely lonely after that, and because of that she start to insert herself inside other people's lives, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, the way she goes about it is that she wants people to be with her at all times, even when sometimes it's not appropriate. Like, she's become estranged with her father, right? But
Yeah.
then she stay almost all the time at Jay's house. And then there's instances where she got really sad one night, and she start to ask her ex-boyfriend Daniel,
Yeah.
who's currently is dating her best friend Jade, to sleep with her. And no,
Not
not
that.
having sex. They just literally sit next to each other, and then things happen, and then people hate her even more. And Mia is relying on these people to keep her company at all times, while at the same time she's not doing her part to make them appreciative of her being in their life.
Yeah.
And at the same time she's relying on, you know like Jade to be her big sister, and she's relying on Riley to be her
Her little
little
bro.
brother.
Yeah.
And she relies on Daniel to be her best friend when Daniel is no longer her boyfriend. She doesn't rely on her dad when she's supposed to, because it's her dad. It's not like he's the foster father or anything.
Yeah. Even
He's a
even
blood father.
yeah. Even the father is trying to make amends with her, but at every turn she's like, "F you, dad. I don't
Yeah.
care. F
Uh,
you."
I mean, the thing is, Mia now relies on the hand, so she could keep talking to her mother. And she rely on other people to be the conduit, to be the mother's soul possessing that body, so she
Yeah.
can talk to the hand, so to
She
speak.
she's very selfish. Yeah.
Yeah, very very selfish, and it hurts everyone around her. And it hurts them more than it hurts her, but she just keeps seeing herself as the victim in all of this.
Yeah.
And it's very frustrating, and the fuck me is very justified as the movie
Whoa.
goes along.
Yeah. Woe is me. Like, yeah. So, and then in terms of the making, I can't believe this is the debut, man. This is like very clean. Everything's very clean. Very cleanly moved, very cleanly edited, and it shows they show confidence that they can that helm a horror movie, and the all the scares doesn't add up too. When it hits, it freaking
Yeah,
hits.
and when it starts, things just kept piling up, but not in a way that there's no breather. There is, but all the breathers are leading up to even more tension, which
Yeah.
is really good. And the thing is too, people might criticize, this like this movie's premise remind me a lot of this horror game franchise called Obscure, where a bunch of college kids find out about like a dust that comes from a mysterious tree that is the college campus, and that's f around with it and find out, you know what I mean. So that's exactly what happened in this movie, a bunch of teenagers doing this. But what makes both Obscure and this work, in my opinion, is because teenagers are that dumb. They're gonna do that thing. Like, I remember once when I was in college, people start to be like, oh, he learned in like silat or something, which is like a martial art here in like
In the Nusantara
in the
countries.
Nusantara countries, right? So like they learn how to make someone go blank. Pensan apa?
Pass out.
Yeah,
Lights out, punch
yeah,
it out.
yeah. They they
Yeah.
they they teach people how to make people pass out. And the thing is, when we were in that room, when we heard someone can do that, everyone's like, okay, do me next. And then you see the horrifying person like just go like this, straight like this, like straight up. No slowly descend. They just fall down like that. And you know what the next person says? Oh, do me next, do me next. And then it's my turn. I'm like, do me now, do me now. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's his.
Teenagers are that dumb.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
very fully realized here in this movie.
That's his thing that happened. I guess I can only hear what he has to say about it. So yeah, teenagers are dumb.
Peer pressure is real.
Yeah, I mean we've seen enough teenagers in movies, and even in real life. Yeah, they're really dumb, and then even in a recent movie that we watched prior to watching prior to doing this review. Yeah, teenagers are really dumb, and they could like they don't won't know that the dumb things that they do can affect other people sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's why I think this movie works psychologically speaking. In the macro sense, meaning the teenagers in the town, and also in the micro sense, meaning the infighting of the family of Mia and Jay.
Yeah. So there you go. This is yeah, thank you GSC movies filling in to bring this to our shores. Really appreciate it. And yeah, bring more beautiful movies, man. If the strike doesn't pan out, bring more of their movies here. Come. Let them in. Let them in. Let me in. Let me in. All right. Let's score this mafia. This motherfucker.
Alright, I would score this movie a 9.2 out of 10.
Yeah. I mean, initially after the screening of the movie, I was like, I would want to give it like the highest of score, but then yeah, no movie's perfect. I see some flaws here and there, so I'm gonna give it a little bit higher than him. 9.5 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, there you go. Watch it. It's worth it. And as people who watch a lot of horror know, sometimes this is one of those days where you gotta get cozy, and then you're gonna turn on something scary to spook you to sleep. This is a
it.
good one,
This is
man.
it. Yeah.
Alright.
So
Yeah, you should watch this, man.
yeah. So we're signing off now.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Talk to my hand.